What is slow cinema? And is it a response to the fast pace of popular commercial films? To answer the first question, we have to look at films classified as a part of the slow cinema movement to try and find similarities between them that can be used to properly define the term slow cinema, or at least give some basic understanding of the characteristics that films of this movement share. So sit down, grab an apple, and let's go on a journey together. For the purpose of this exercise, I've chosen to focus on 4 films. The 2010 Palme d'Or winner Uncle Boonmee Who Can Recall His Past Lives by Apichatpong Weerasethakul, the 2013 Academy Award-winning film Ida by Pavel Pawlikowski, the 2018 film An Elephant Sitting Still by Hu Bo, and Andrei Tarkovsky's seminal 1979 film Stalker. There are many other films that I could have chosen, some even more well-known in the slow cinema movement, films by filmmakers like Bela Tarr, Chantal Akerman, Kelly Reichardt, Tsai Ming Liang. The list is endless. However, I chose the films I did because they give you a broad idea of slow cinema and the different interpretations, since the 4 films are so diverse and from different parts of the world: Thailand, Poland, China, and Russia. When watching these films, the first thing you notice is the length of the shots. The filmmakers hold shots for much longer compared to contemporary commercial films. As the average shot length decreases in contemporary film, it becomes more and more noticeable when films don't make a cut after a certain amount of time has passed. We've been conditioned as an audience to expect a cut, so when the cut doesn't come, it can be quite disconcerting. And that is definitely the point. It draws attention to itself, and because of that, it draws the attention of the audience. The next similarity between the films is the way the camera is used. All of the films, except for An Elephant Sitting Still, largely lock off the camera. There are only a handful of moments where the camera moves, and even then, the movements are slow and smooth. Since most of the shots are static, the camera becomes observational rather than being from any one character's point of view, which means that the composition of the frame and what is included within or excluded is extremely important. Since shots are long, it allows the audience to really take in what is happening in the frame, which means that the filmmakers are very intentional with regards to composition. Which leads us to our next similarity. These films have little to no plot. Uncle Boonmee is about a man spending his dying days together with his family, the ghost of his deceased wife and his missing son, who's returned as a forest spirit. Ida is about a young woman who, before taking her vows as a nun, meets her aunt for the first time, her only surviving family, and learns about her true heritage, which leads her on a search for her family's final resting place. An Elephant Sitting Still deals with the problems of 4 characters over the course of one day, and Stalker follows 3 people as they travel into the heart of a mysterious and dangerous area called the Zone, in search of a room said to grant wishes. Not much happens in any of the films in the traditional sense. Nothing is really achieved or gained through overcoming problems or obstacles. Instead, all of the characters in the films take an emotional, spiritual, or philosophical journey. The only 2 films to actually have any sort of plot or goal for the characters to achieve or work towards are Ida and Stalker. But the audience quickly realizes that the journey is more important than the destination. Uncle Boonmee, for the most part, is just filled with quiet family moments that show characters reflecting on life and spiritual ideas like karma and reincarnation. And An Elephant Sitting Still has its characters react to whatever happens to them during the day. There is an overarching idea that the characters want to travel to a neighboring city to visit a mythical elephant, but it's not something any of the characters actively work towards during the film. Rather, it is an inevitable destination for the characters to conclude their story together. The minimalistic use of music is another similarity. The soundscapes of the films are dominated by diegetic ambient noises, crickets, running water, cars. Only in specific moments are non-diegetic sounds or music used. Most of the time, the audience hears exactly what the characters hear, grounding the viewer in the reality of the film. All these similarities I mentioned can be seen as being common techniques used in slow cinema. However, it has to be said that all of these films make use of their similarities in different ways. For instance, if we look at shot length, in An Elephant Sitting Still, each shot is as long as each scene, since almost every scene plays out in one take. However, in Ida, which could be seen as more audience-friendly, the shots vary in length, with some being as short as a few seconds long and others significantly longer. The same could be said with any of the other similarities. Some films make use of non-diegetic music that plays infrequently, while others have essentially no music that isn't coming from a source in the scene. All of these film techniques are a good place to start with when describing slow cinema. But if I had to truly list one thing that is unique to slow cinema and can possibly be used as a descriptor, it would be the fact that slow cinema films focus on quiet moments, moments between things happening, when nothing happens, and time seemingly stands still, where characters are sitting and waiting, or doing a mundane task, pauses in conversation, or just moments when the characters are completely alone. All moments that contemporary commercial films attempt to eliminate. So, is slow cinema a response to the fast pace of commercial films? Films that are designed to hold the audience's attention from start to finish, as well as be easily understandable and digestible? It's difficult to say without being able to go back to the birth of the slow cinema movement, which I think is an answer in itself. Since it's hard to pinpoint exactly where slow cinema first started, I see it as more of an evolution of an existing film style rather than a direct response to commercial films. In other words, a new way of making an older style of film. However, I do believe that there are filmmakers who do create slow cinema films primarily because they are tired of the fast-paced, unambiguous and forgettable nature of commercial films, but also as a way of giving the audience variety, so that even though the market is largely dominated by these fast commercial films, there are other kinds of films that can be sought out and experienced if an audience member wishes to watch something that isn't a remake or a superhero film. Filmmakers that are catering to that small group of film watchers that are frankly tired of the direction commercial film is headed towards. People like me. And if you are watching this, hopefully people like you. My name is Brandon. Thank you for watching.